So I made a video a few weeks ago about why I don't like Fiverr as a software engineer. I want to say this still stays true. I still don't think it's the best platform as a software engineer, but I might be changing my mind soon. Let's see. As you can see from the title of this video, I earned $300 from both Fiverr and Upwork combined. So when I started Fiverr, or when I made the video about Fiverr, about why I don't like it, honestly, a big part of it was I don't think Fiverr is the best platform for software engineers, but it does not mean that I think Fiverr is not a good platform. As a matter of fact, I think Fiverr is actually a good platform to make money, but I just think that it makes it very competitive for software engineers to have an edge. To be honest, software engineering tasks can range anywhere from an hour to an entire week in terms of tasks. So if someone comes to me and says they want a whole website built, but they're only wanting to pay $50, that's not justifiable for me to actually sit there and spend the time to build a website. So those are some things I don't like about Fiverr, but does not mean I don't think Fiverr is somewhere where you can make money. As a matter of fact, of that $300, $60 were just from Fiverr, and they were from one person. So to give you a little background on that one, I started a web scraping gig on Fiverr. If you've watched one of my previous videos, I started talking about BSC tokens and my first attempt at affiliate marketing and passive income streams. So when I built that bot that scraped all the data for BSC tokens, I noticed that it was highly reusable. And because it was highly reusable, I decided to offer it as a gig on Fiverr. I said, who knows, I might get a job on this. And what do you know? Last week on the 22nd of December, 3 days before Christmas, this dude from some Eastern European country messages me and is like, hey, I need someone to scrap data for me. Can you scrap this website? And I said, absolutely. You know, not really checking the website, but absolutely I can scrap it. And I saw the website is actually pretty straightforward. I told the guy, I'll give you a gig for $20. He said, oh, but there's like too many rows in this. I was initially gonna just do it anyways, even if there was more, just to get a gig on that one. But I was like, okay, yeah, oh, since it's more, I will charge you more. So I ended up charging him $30 for that gig. It took me about 30 minutes to get the bot ready to script that website. And then I just ran it and I scrapped all the data that way. If you're curious about that gig, by the way, here is a thumbnail picture of it. And if you've noticed, my YouTube thumbnail game is a lot better than my Fiverr gig thumbnails. Part of it's because I'm not taking Fiverr too seriously. The other part is I need to improve my thumbnails. So given this information, if you're wanting to start on Fiverr, here are a few things that I suggest to do. Number one, make sure your thumbnail looks good. So I'll be honest, my web scraping gig looks like trash. Second thing about Fiverr that I recommend you do. So when you're picking up a gig on Fiverr, make sure that you communicate with the seller well. And also before you even start a job, make sure that you've got the proper requirements or the proper information to get started on the job. Because trust me, it's not gonna help you if you're delivering deliveries where you're not matching what your client's paying for. Because if your client's paying you to get them data from XYZ website, and this is the data that they want, you can't miss that. Or another thing that you should do on Fiverr is make sure you're visiting the buyer's request very frequently. So for those who don't know, the buyer's request is a little feature that Fiverr offers where people can actually create kind of a bidding process on projects that they want to do. So if you have 0 gigs, it is actually very helpful to help you land your first gig, especially if you have 0 reviews and no credibility on Fiverr. I'll tell you, ever since that first gig that I've landed and I got 5 stars from it, I've actually been getting messages almost weekly now from people on Fiverr. But the problem that I notice is it's true that I'm getting a lot more messages, but I'm refusing a lot of these jobs because people are expecting to pay $50 and get the world. And I'm sorry, my time is worth a lot more than that. I don't want to sell my time for so cheap that I don't have any more time left to even sell. And then the last thing I'll say about Fiverr is make sure your description or your bio is on point. I did notice a drastic improvement when I improved my about section. Some of the things that I did was I highly recommend when you're doing or when you're selling yourself, try to go by describing yourself in the third person. This helps relate, or it helps create the idea that someone else wrote your description for you and that this person knows a lot about you. And it's, for some reason, ever since I've done that, I've been seeing lots of messages as well as like the 5-star review, but I've been seeing a lot of people reaching out. Now for Upwork, it's a very different process, and I'll say I don't have a lot of experience there and I don't have a lot of opportunities there. I've had people reach out to me on jobs before on Upwork, but nothing's really stable, I will say, in that regard. I didn't really accept any of the jobs because the budgets were way lower than what I was willing to accept, but I wanted to break into Upwork, and I was trying to follow a similar strategy as to what I did to break into Fiverr, which was to basically look for simple jobs that don't take that much time and charge the lowest possible price to get that job. So what I ended up doing was, this one random morning, I woke up, right? I think I woke up, it was like the 22nd of December. I woke up and I don't normally check Upwork. I was like, you know what? Let me check Upwork. Like, you know, it's like nothing's gonna happen. Maybe I might get some luck. And as scrolling, I found a gig. It was for a software solution designer kind of job. And it was supposed to be very short term. The budget seemed very healthy for the job. The job posting was actually from $50 to $250 an hour, which if you think about it, if I was able to get $250 an hour, I'd be making bank. But what I ended up doing was I submitted an offer where I bid $60. And one thing that I'll tell you that I've found to actually get me a lot of responses was if you can provide a solution to their problem, even at a high level, like don't give them the actual details, right? Then they have no reason to hire you, but give suggestions, and don't worry about pitching yourself too much. Make sure your profile does the pitching for you. What you should instead focus on is on the actual gig itself and how you're gonna be able to get it done. And my advice there is if you have suggestions, if you have things that you have to mention about the gig, read that description very, very well and respond to some of the points in that description. Directly, straight up. It doesn't even have to be that formal because you're just dealing with people, but going straight to the point, telling them this is what I recommend you do. If you want, I can help you do that. This is what I've done with it, and so forth. And that's how I got the gig. I actually started describing technologies that I've used that might fit in his solution from the very little description that he had in the gig posting. And for some reason, it seems that did the magic trick. There was like at least, I think, 10 other people that bid for the position, but I think I got it. And I'll tell you some of the reasons that happened. I bid the lowest, I went straight to the point, and I'm pretty sure that everybody that was competing went to the highest possible bid. So this is something that I personally noticed even when I was doing a bid for an essay on one of my websites. I asked for a writer to help me write a blog. I said my max budget's $500. You have to be some like killing it for me to give you $500 to write me an essay. But I got people who went straight to the budget. They said, oh, $500? Hell yeah, that's what I'm gonna go for. Part of me was like, I'll do this as an experiment to see like how people are doing this. So I did notice that. So a majority of people who applied went straight to the highest level. Some even went above the budget to write me an article. I was like, wow, all right. So this is how it's operating, and how I found that I chose the person that I chose was they were new to Upwork, so they didn't really have a lot of credibility, but they charged the lowest. So it was a lady, she charged $70 while everyone else charged $500. Nobody went with 100, nobody went with 200, nobody went with 300. Everybody went straight to the end of the budget. She was like, I'm gonna just do 70, and that's what she did. She did a wonderful job, and I gave her a good tip. By the way, if you're ever using Fiverr and Upwork, just tip the people you work with. I mean, especially if they're giving you a good deal. Like she gave me a good deal, I tipped her. I actually tip every single person I work with on Fiverr or Upwork because it's good to take care of those and make sure that like if someone's doing you a good solid, like they did a good job, make sure you're tipping them. Nobody's tipped me yet far on Fiverr or Upwork. But yeah, just tip people. Like there's no harm in that. Anyways, fam, I hope you enjoyed this video. And as usual, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you think Fiverr and Upwork are something worth exploring. And the last thing is, if you're interested in how I'm making 6 figures, and if you're interested in how you can earn as much as I have, and if you're curious about my earnings, this is how much I've earned from one platform called TopTal. And if you're interested in joining TopTal, it's an amazing community with some of the top freelancers in the world, people that work all over. I've met people that work from Spain, from Germany, from South America, from Russia, from all over, even Australia. So if you're interested in a community that is freelance based, a platform that can get you $100 an hour job or less, I mean, depends on your skill set. But if you're looking for something where you can actually start making some good money, TopTal is a platform that I highly recommend. And I will say they are highly selective, highly competitive. But if you're a good software engineer, you can easily be making $15,000 a month, if not more. I'm actually making over that right now from multiple different sources, but I'm averaging around $1,400 a month on TopTal. I gave a little bit of a discount there just due to the fact that it's such a long-term contract. But otherwise, it would have been like $1,500 a month. All right, well, peace.